Okay, here we go. We're on. Okay, welcome everybody to the Winchester Creatives Christmas party and quiz. Thank you so much for all the people who have joined us from around the world. Big respect to Rick Adams in LA, big respect to Catherine in Maine, and big respect to everyone in the North, Suzanne, and everyone in the Winchester and Hampshire regions. Thank you for taking the effort to join us tonight. So I'm just going to share my screen now, and we're going to get straight into the presentation. So can you give me a thumbs up? Can you see that screen? Is that good? Okay, so this is the Winchester Creatives Christmas quiz and Christmas party. So today we're just going to give you a quick overview of a year in review from me and Dan. We're going to hear from Kevin Chin, who's going to give us a bit of an update about the Yellowtail brief. We're going to hear from Catherine around events and courses, and going to hand over Hazel Terry, who's going to do our festive quiz, and then announcements at the end. If anybody needs to split, I totally understand, but if you could stick with us for the first 25 minutes, I'd really appreciate it. So I'm going to hand over to Dan.
Thank you very much, Richard, and it's lovely to see so many people this evening. So what a year it has been for Winchester Creatives. But first, what you may not know is Winchester Creatives started life way back a few years ago as a community event series where people from all around the Winchester and Hampshire region would get together, freelancers, students, agency folk, and share stories, share experiences, share pizza, and all listen to a creative, amazing person speaking. And the last one we had was Mr. Richard Coope in 2019. Unfortunately, that kind of wound down, but you know, great things come like a phoenix from the ashes. The new incarnation of Winchester Creatives was born.
And so I phoned up Dan in March because I knew I wanted to reignite Winchester Creatives, but I knew that getting together for pizza and beers wasn't the right thing to do. And I kept on asking myself a question each day, which was, who do I want to be during COVID-19? And the key question that it led me towards is, I could see the calamity that was going to happen in our nation because of the pandemic. I could see the rise of about 1 million people unemployed under the age of 25, and we wanted to do something about it. So the only people who were talking about it back in March 2019 was the Resolution Foundation, but subsequently over the last 10 months, we've seen the FT, Prince Charles, and a lot of people embracing this issue. So I phoned up Dan and said, look, let's set up a not-for-profit social enterprise and do some good during COVID-19. Let's reimagine Winchester Creatives for this new COVID generation. And he kindly said he's up for it. And then we began.
So what we thought though, is that we can't do this on our own. So obviously we roped in some help from the most amazing people that we've met throughout both of our careers. And we said, this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to help young people get into the creative industry. It's going to be tough. Will you help? And you know what? Everyone said yes. Of course they did, because they're all amazing people. And this is all of their smiley faces right here.
And what a wonderful group of volunteers. Thank you so much. Big heart for everyone involved in that. So what we did is at the beginning days, I don't know if you remember this, Matt, there was a lot of head scratching. So we all got onto Zoom calls and we kind of said, okay, what is this thing? How do we create a new brand, a new concept? What is it really focused on? So we had Ari just before going off to the US. We had Dan B, we had Alina, we had Rebecca, and we all had looked like serious faces because we're really trying to work it all out. But we managed to do that, and it took us to a really exciting place.
And what came out of that was actually the brand new Winchester Creatives identity. And with that, the brand new spirit of which we were trying to bring to it and the problems that we were trying to solve. And this, as you can see, is it. So massive well done. And thank you to everyone who worked on this, because it has taken us into the new decade as a brand new entity.
So it was a complete collective effort from all of those volunteers, but we're just going to do a few shout outs throughout the course of this presentation. The first shout out we want to send out to Dan B, who helped to basically document all of the great words we had. He brought us a brand guidelines document. He helped construct our kind of brand logo, which we've affectionately called SID. And he really helped put some structure around it. So our big first out shout out and a big round of applause to our big, wonderful Dan B.
Run, Dan.
Love you, Dan.
And so closely followed behind that was the main focus of why we were getting this whole band back together, assembling the Avengers. And this was to create the campaign to help young creatives get into the industry during this really tough time, this pandemic and recession. And what we came up with was this idea of minding the gap being the jump from education into employment, and secure employment at that, not just working for free, not just freelance work, but actually getting experience in the industry. And that's where Mind the Gap came from.
And simplicity is hard to get to. It's we forced ourselves to be really, really clear, but just let's remind ourselves, what is the gap that we are trying to fill? We are trying to give young people to plug the wage gap, the hope gap, the opportunity gap, the growth gap for them. But also for employers, we want to basically help them to plug their talent gap, their ideas gap, their innovation gap, their growth gap, their acceleration gap. So in all of this, we had a simple idea that brought it together, which is why we chose the Mind the Gap campaign.
And, you know, everything, we were working day and night trying to get the campaign up and running. We had someone in place to do the website who pulled out at the last minute. So 2 or 3 days before we were due to go live, we all scrabbled around and, you know, we put together this Squarespace website, which has stood us in good stead for the rest of the year. You know, I'm pretty chuffed with it myself. If you've got any criticisms, please keep it to yourself.
Can I just say, on my next shout out is, I just want to make sure, can everyone put their hands together in a silent clap for the Dan Benham? Because seriously, there's a guy called Steve who dropped him in it, and he turned around the website within 4 days. He did an amazing job. He was my hero at that precise moment in time. I give you the wonderful Dan Benham.
Woo! Thank you very much, Richard.
So what then we returned to lights, camera, action. It was a really sweltering day in the middle of May, June, going into July, getting into August. We had to get some video content ready for our crowdfunding campaign, and the wonderful Alexander Frey and also Camilla, my wife, helped to produce, and I wouldn't mind being myself a bit up there. I organised and getting everyone together, but we, on this sweltering hot day, we got together and we shot photos, and we also created video content. And I hope you see in this photo, look at the smile on Dan Benham's face. He turned into Francis Ford Coppola. He was like our Oscar-winning director for these videos, and boy, did the contributors do well. So what a wonderful occasion that really was. And so I'd also like to say a big thank you to my wife. So at that time, she did some catalogue shots. So she took some photographs, and we had these wonderful photos that we used for our press shots. My personal favorite is bottom right. If you can see Matt Hampsey holding on a big banner, giving it his all. He did an amazing job. So I want to say silent clap, please, for Camilla Cowling, for our wonderful Camilla Coope, my wife. I should know her name. For our wonderful photos.
Thank you.
Well done. Excellent, excellent work, and not at all a Freudian slip there, I'm sure. The next round of applause here is for the team behind the social media content. And so this was initially kicked off by Helena, and then as she bowed out to pursue her own developments in her career, Nicola Webster has ably stood in and absolutely both of them knocked it out of the park. And so huge round of applause for Helena, Nicola, Ari and Dan B, because all of them together, scheduling, writing content that, you know, we could never have even dreamed of, and creating graphics and things like that. They've been absolutely incredible. And the absolute forward-facing lifeblood of this campaign. We couldn't have done it without them, absolutely. So thank you very much to all four of you. Thank you.
And of course, if you haven't seen it, then just look on the Instagram, look on Twitter, look on LinkedIn. There's just been a wonderful array of great content there. That's taken a lot of time and energy for us to produce. Please, 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 if you haven't done so, go to our social channels, follow them, like them. It makes Nicola's day when we can share the content, because the more people we can tell about this, the more better. But it's really extraordinary stuff, and we're really punching above our weight. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
And so on to the campaign. We kicked off our crowdfunding campaign, more on that later, but we were so lucky to have some amazing rewards to give out and to send to people, and for people to get behind and back. And so here's a small selection of which, you know, we've had Ellie and Matt, they've created some amazing stuff. Ari, again, who's in the States, and Dan B, again, really pulling it out of the bag. Really top quality, amazing posters, which I was absolutely in love with from the first moment I saw them. Absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much.
And of course, these were the videos that Alexander Frey helped us create. If you haven't seen them, you know, what a brilliant job that Ellie, Matt, Dan and Ari did. Dan and I cobbled together something, you know, very quickly, but this was really highly polished, highly professional, and well, we were really thrilled with the outcome. So I know that Alex isn't here, but he can see this recording. Can we give a round of applause to Alexander Frey? It's you, Dan.
Absolutely. And the cutting room floor, with the amount of outtakes from me and Richard on that day, I can't believe that he didn't smash the camera up in rage. But no, so as I was saying, the rewards were absolutely wonderful, and all of the designers to make sure that through their efforts we had enough backers, and we're really pleased to say that every one of our rewards was bought and purchased multiple times, and that ultimately helped the campaign be as successful as it was.
And I was thrilled to see that our Sid mug, named after Sid Vicious, our WC thing, was one of our biggest sellers. So Sid, who sits proudly behind me right here in the office, who's our mascot, who reminds us to have the creative energy of punk, but also the creative output of such a wonderful band. And just because we live in Winchester doesn't mean that we can't live a little bit punkish. So thank you, Dan, for coming up with Sid, our mascot. Just want to put a shout out to the wonderful Ellie Taylor. So shout out to the wonderful, can everyone go on to mute? So while we were doing our campaign, we would try to find different ways to amplify the message. And the wonderful Ellie, she made these face masks alongside with Dan B's t-shirt, and she went out into Winchester. She got her partner to basically walk through the high street, to go in front of some King Alfred, to do some handstands, whatever it took to make us notice. And I want to say from all of us, Ellie, a heartfelt thank you for your inventiveness, for your proactivity. We loved it. Thank you so much. It's you, Dan.
Sorry, I've got a bit of a delay. I can't see the next slide. Oh, here we go. Yes, and so as a consequence of the amazing input and drive from the team and everyone really firing on all cylinders, obviously the campaign picked up momentum. We were featured in all of the local press, the Hampshire Chronicle, Daily Echo, Winchester Residents Magazine, even the Andover Advertiser, which I'm very pleased to say. You know, it went everywhere, and we were really, really pleased with the coverage we got. And all of these, again, lovely photos that Camilla has taken on that lovely sunny day, you know, featured everywhere. It was wonderful to see.
So the main point of our campaign was to raise money through our crowdfunding campaign. And it was a bit nervous. It was a bit close to the edge. So on our final day, literally with 25 minutes to go, we were £350 short of our set target. And the reason why it was important is if we didn't make £6,000, we had to give all of the money back. And I have to say, my sister came to the rescue. She gave us 250 quid. But some other people also came through, and many of the people on this call were very, very kind. So Rick, thank you so much for your kind donation. And for everyone else, David and Natalie and everyone who supported the crowdfunding campaign, we made it. We managed to raise £6,000, and it turned out we exceeded that target with over 100 people from the local environment, from Winchester, cheering us on. So well done, congratulations, we managed it.
And so with that, obviously, the main benefit of all of that money is going towards providing apprenticeships, mentoring, and extra training for young people to get into the creative industry. And so with that, we set about onboarding a whole host of amazing mentors from the Hampshire creative community and even beyond that. We're so thrilled to have all these amazing people. And this is just a small selection of the people that we've been able to pair up with students and graduates to provide experience. So thank you so much to every single one of those as well.
And it should be said from Dan and myself, we were overwhelmed by the proactivity of people. The highlight for me was when we had more people signing up for mentoring than we had mentees. That showed that there was a real desire to help. But also, Rick Adams phoned me up from LA, and he said, I've heard about your Winchester Creatives campaign. I want to help. And I had a call with a rock star presenter, writer, producer, involved in so many things, and he in LA was showing an interest about what was happening in Winchester because he's a Winchester born and bred guy. That for me was like, my God, our message is getting far and wide. So thank you so much, Rick Adams. It was amazing that you supported our campaign.
Are you kidding? You guys are incredible, and it's I'm very humbled by what you just said. Thank you, but I think what you're doing is magnificent, and I think if we all pull together and create something like this, and what the leadership you guys have shown is just extraordinary. So I'm just very, very lucky to know you guys. So thanks for including me.
Thank you so much for those kind words. We didn't tee him up for that, honest.
And so with it, obviously the campaign ended and obviously meant that, all of the wonderful rewards that people have been purchasing needed to get sent out. And so, again, the team rallied around, and we've got the Winchester Postal Service here, a slick team of signees and writers and packers and tapers and stampers and everything. And, got it all out in record time. Absolutely. It was a Guinness Book of World Records attempt, I'm sure.
And again, thank you for my wife, because she did all of the addresses and all of that stuff. And I was the one that was causing the mayhem. I was putting the wrong reward in the wrong pile. And she's learned for the many, many years, the 24 years that she's known me, just to ignore what I have to do. And she managed to organize us alongside with Nicola, and we did a great job. So thank you, my love. Really appreciate it. So the one thing it's really worthwhile mentioning is, we're doing all this because we want to create job opportunities for our young creatives in Winchester. And I was fortunate enough to find an opportunity. So remember I mentioned about Alex Frey. So Alex had volunteered for our team, and Winchester College, one of the oldest educational institutions in the UK, approached me because they were looking for a video content producer. And they thought, did I have anyone in mind? Now, their job description actually required somebody with significantly more experience than having a young graduate, because I know we've got people on this call now who've done motion graphics and video production, but I was able to basically introduce Alex Frey. He now has a full-time role as a video content producer at Winchester College, and it's our first big win. And you know what? We're going to clang a bell for every job we create through Winchester Creatives. He was our first, but we hope to be able to, for most of you on this call, when you get full-time jobs, we'll celebrate it. Because if we can help 1, 2, 5, 10, 20, 50, 60, 100 people get jobs, we'd have done some good during COVID-19. So well done to Alex Frey.
And again, we're really, really, really excited and proud that, due to our efforts, we received from the Mayor of Winchester Local Hero Awards 2020. And myself and Richard were presented with these awards, but we obviously accept them on behalf of the whole team, because we couldn't have done anything that we've done this year without the support of all of those volunteers, mentors, and everyone who's been involved. So we're really proud with the campaign we've put together over the past 9 months. And it is a testament to all of our hard work, not just myself and Richard, because collectively, probably what we put into it is maybe 10% of everyone who's volunteered. So well done to everyone. It really is recognized as doing amazing work during this really difficult year. So well done, everyone.
So we had to transition from our campaign of trying to raise £5,000, but our vision was to try and create 5 opportunities for young graduates to give them above the living wage, to give them a job opportunity in 2021. But we needed to get more money to enable that to happen. So our vision was to try and create 5 roles in graphic design, in interaction design, in development, in video production, and in content creation and digital marketing, and to provide 6 months apprentices, so that they, or between 5 and 6 months, depending on how much money we were to create, so that we could fund them, so they could feel like they were working within the creative industries and didn't feel like you needed to do a shift at Wetherspoons or in the coffee shops. You could know full-heartedly that you're working in the creative industries. So we started our business sponsorship campaign.
And we were lucky enough to have one amazing person who heard what we were trying to do and took it back to their team at Yellowtail Wines. Kevin Chin, who's here this evening, and we'll hear from him later on, but Yellowtail Wines and the parent company, Castella Family Brands, has given us £10,000 to provide an apprentice with an apprenticeship in 2021. And we are so, so grateful. Again, we'll hear from him again in a minute, but we are immensely grateful for that support, because that is life-changing to a person. And it obviously lifted our spirits immensely. Aside from that, we've also had financial support from the Cactus Agency, Winchester City Council, and Winchester College. So thank you so much to everyone. We are eternally grateful from the bottom of our hearts.
And all of that money is going towards helping young people to get jobs and to tackle the feelings of hopelessness and job despair. So we'll get to it in a second, but can we just all have a round of applause for the wonderful Kevin Chin, Spencer Gallagher, Peter Hall, Jenny from Winchester College, and also the Winchester City Council team. Please give it a round of applause for these wonderful people. So just to say, we are still trying to chase this target of £50,000. So what with all our fundraising support so far, we're at like £14,000. So we're still trying to find 4 more businesses or institutions to fund our 4 other candidates. And we're working so hard, and we're trying to push so much content out there, which is why it'd be really great if you can share it. But we still have that vision to get to that total figure, so that we can help more people, so that we can give funded places. So if any of you stumble on some fine, wonderful businesses, national or Hampshire based, who would be inspired to sponsor one of our mentees, to give you a break, to create the opportunity to work in the creative industries, please send them in our direction. We'll explain to what they're doing, but we're trying our best to do the fundraising. It's hard in these times, but we're so glad that we've made a start.
And obviously, with that in mind, the business sponsorship campaign kicked into gear. Again, here's the wonderful Kevin Chin and a lovely bottle of Yellowtail Shiraz. We were lucky enough to have more good press come from this in the autumn.
It's a terrible hat, though.
But we decided that we can't just do this alone. And sometimes you have to just call on some people with a bit more authority and influence. So we've tried to encourage the great and the good and the people who are seen as the big influencers in Winchester to help support us. So you might have seen, we've had our MP, our representative in the Houses of Parliament, Steve Bryan MP, do a video for us and to hold our banner. The wonderful Wendy Wyatt, who runs the Winchester Design Festival, did the same. Councillor Jackie Porter, who's responsible at Winchester City Council level for well-being across the whole of Winchester, she also supported our cause. Canon Andy Trenier from Winchester Cathedral also helped us. Stephen Northam from InQ Hive, who's setting up a brilliant new business complex over at the IBM Hursley branch. And there's so many more people to come. And we even went to pester people at the Houses of Parliament to make sure that they mind the gap and realise that our young people deserve political as well as economic support. So we'll be it basically anyone who's influential, we'll press gang them into holding our banner. And if you know anyone who you think is influential, who's willing to hold our banner for us to show support, let us know. But thank you to all of those people.
And obviously with, the good press came other good things. I and myself were lucky enough to make our television debut on That's TV Southampton, which was an experience, I can tell you that much for sure, especially as it was done over Zoom and not in a fancy TV studio or anything like that.
We ran our first event. So many of you joined us, the wonderful Sam Conniff. He ran our first inaugural event. It was mind-blowing. And so thank you so much for you joining us. I'm so glad that my laptop didn't just explode in the middle of it, but it was a wonderful event. And we thank Sam Conniff for all his support. It was a highlight of our year. And wasn't it a brilliant event? Thank you, Sam.
And obviously with the sponsorship campaign in place, it meant that we could fully kick off the mentoring program. And this was a point where I was personally so proud to have witnessed all the work we've done over the past year. The mentoring program paired 25 creatives trying to break into the industry with 25 leading industry figures from our local industry and beyond. And this was a special point for me because obviously this has been 6 months work in the making of trying to help people who I know we're going to have a tough time because of COVID, because of the recession, because of reduced amount of jobs in the industry. And so to hear people having their first meetings with their mentors and finding it so positive, and to receive emails from people saying, we've been helping them, that's made the whole thing worthwhile for me. And I've been so pleased to hear that it's been beneficial to people even after their first meeting.
We've also launched our first online community. So many of you are on this online community. We've created it so that you can stay in contact with us all the time. You can see really new content. We're sharing events coming up. We're sharing valuable content where there's free resources. We're sharing job opportunities. And I hope you're getting on with the online community. If anyone wants any help in the setup, just let me know. But it's exciting that we can stay connected all together as a community through this platform. I should say, actually, because Dan didn't come. We had our first virtual social meeting. So Rishab, who's just joining us now, Hazel and Lucy, we had a great blast. So if you don't know, on the platform, the first Friday of each month, we're getting together, no agenda, we're just having a chat. I thought it would last for 20 minutes. It actually lasted for a lot longer. It was great fun. So the next one is planned on the 8th of January. Friday, the 8th of January is our second social catch up. You can find the details on the platform, and I'll circulate the Eventbrite details. If you want to just hang out and have a drink, we're always here.
And I will definitely not miss the next one. So one of the main parts of this is that we want to hear from the young people that we're trying to help, and we want to be able to listen and understand the struggles that they're having. So we launched our first questionnaire just to glean some information in an anonymous fashion, no pressure, no strings attached, but just so we know how we can best help people. And we were so grateful for all the feedback we had, and it meant that we could apply this learning and information into what we give young people going forward with the program.
We then ran our second presentation with the wonderful Hazel Anderson-Turner on resilience and mental health and the importance of a positive mindset and how to overcome the challenges of COVID-19. It was a great event. For those of you who couldn't make it, we're recording these events so you can catch up afterwards, but thank you, Hazel Anderson-Turner. Something I should mention, and Catherine Strachan's just about to tell us all about it, we're also tomorrow going to open up access to our first online course. So next year, we're going to create a series of online employability training courses that is going to help you get work ready for the workplace. Our first one is going to be on ultimate copywriting and SEO, and I'll let Catherine explain more in a bit.
And so that brings us to the rest of the evening then. It's time for me and Richard to probably shut up for a bit because we've been talking for quite a while. But we're having our first ever Christmas quiz, and it's lovely for you all to be here and kind of wrap up what I think has been a pretty successful year with a bit of a laugh and just to kind of get to know everyone a bit better.
But before we get there, I'm just going to say what we're doing is for next year, we're trying to find some office space. This is the wonderful office space over at IBM Hursley. We hope to be in the stable block. We only have limited funds, so we might try and start with 3 desks or 5 desks. I'd love to get 5 desks, so as many of you could come and join us at any point. It's just whether we can get the funding from Hampshire County Council. But bear with us. We hope to create a creative studio for us all to belong to sometime soon. So I'm going to just hand you over now to the wonderful Kevin Chin, who's going to tell you a little bit more about the Yellowtail brief and hopefully excite some of you about getting involved. The important thing to know is that Dan and I will be getting in contact with you. We've decided that we don't want just this one opportunity just be for one person. We're going to try and make this opportunity available for 2 people. It might mean that we shorten the length of time people work on this to enable us to pay for it in the right way, but it's a very, very exciting opportunity, and I'm going to let Kevin Chin, the wonderful marketing director of Casella Family Brands Europe, tell you more about his brief.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Dan. Very good presentation. I really enjoyed that, and thank you for inviting me onto this as well. It's great to just have a few minutes to take you through. I think I'll just take you through a bit about Casella actually first, because it'd be good for you guys to get to know a bit more about the business. So where did Casella come from? Well, actually, the family goes back to Italy. They originate from Sicily in Italy, and they're a very Italian family, but they came across to Australia back in the 50s. John Casella is a 6th generation Casella, and he was born in Australia. And John Casella is the guy behind Casella Family Brands. He's the guy behind Yellowtail, and he had a passion for wine. He had a passion for Australia, a passion for wine, and a bit of a passion for Italy as well, given that's where his roots were. But he actually saw that the wine category back in 2001 was a bit boring, particularly in America. It was all white labels, it was French, it's quite hard to drink stuff. So John had an idea and a vision that he wanted to make wine for everyone to enjoy. He's very much a family person, and if you ever meet John, he's about the family, and that's how the business operates. So he wanted to make that product, make that brand really come to life. So he blended his Italian winemaking heritage with his Australian laid-back attitude, took a gamble, went across to America with a bag and a bottle of a sample, and tried to sell in the brand to America, to the American market. And amazingly, his perseverance paid off. He got a deal, and they said, we'll buy 10,000 cases off you, and there's 6 bottles in a case. So he thought, I've made it here. This is fantastic. He went back, got it all sorted out. He's using his credit card to buy all his gear and his winemaking kit. And he got all his wine. He just about got it ready, got it on the boat, and off it went. And as the boat went across, there was some kind of storm, and half the wine fell out and started leaking. So the whole thing just went completely pear-shaped. So he then had to borrow a load of money to then make another batch and get it over just in time. And he thought he'd kind of finished. He thought this was never going to happen, but he got there just in time. And bearing in mind he had a plan for 10,000 cases in the first year, he ended up selling nearly 1 million cases in the first 12 months. It just absolutely hit the spot and resonated. It just smashed through all that white label on the shelf. And it was a great example of where creativity really just smashed into what was the norm and the standard. And actually, if you ever go online and you're interested in hearing a bit more about that or reading a bit more about that, then look up Blue Ocean Strategy and Yellowtail. And there's a story in that. And it's quite a well-known story about how you disrupt a category to really make a step change and to really make a difference. So that's how it got to onto the market. And today, Yellowtail has gone from strength to strength. It's still made at the Casella's family home in Yenda, a small town in Australia. And the Casella family is a very sort of big part of that small town, and he does a lot of support down in Australia. So he's very much about giving back. And family tradition is still very much at the heart of the business, and very much the business that we have over here in Europe as well. There's only 20 of us, but we all act and work together. We've only been going for 5 years in Europe, but we look after each other, and it's small enough to know each other and have good times, but it's a big enough business to kind of learn the stuff you want to learn if you want to get on it in life. So today, Yellowtail brand, it's the most loved wine brand in the world. We're the #3 wine brand in the UK and the fastest growing. So we're doing all right, but we know there's lots to do, and we never get complacent about where we are. And we want to make sure that we continue to grow, and we want to grow sustainably. So that's not about looking at the profit and loss and wondering about how we hit the next target for the end of the month, which is quite often what it's like in the big businesses. It's about making something that John Casella's kids can take on from John. so they can inherit the legacy and take that forward. And for that reason, it's great because it allows us the chance to really get behind initiatives and to do the right thing rather than do the short-term thing. So for anyone that was able to come on board, I really hope that they'd love to work in a small business but has that big business approach. Kind of think global, act global almost. That would be fantastic to have people on board to join in that space. To really help with our creative brief for 2020, 2021 and beyond. So we want to make sure that we continue to connect with our consumers who we really value and our shoppers. We've got a new campaign coming out next year called Find Your Yellowtail. And we'd really love a couple of you to come on board and help us to bring that to life in the digital space, in stores, and pretty much all the touch points that we know are important to growing our brand. So that's kind of the brief, that's the business. It's very exciting. There's lots of growth left for the brand, I think. Lots of challenges to overcome as well. So that's kind of what we're looking to do. And we're really looking forward to working with Mind the Gap and bringing a couple of you on board. It's a great initiative. We're delighted to be supporting it. But until then, I just wish you all the very best of luck for Christmas and have a happy new year. And hopefully I'll see a couple of you in the new year to work on the plans.
Thank you very much indeed, Kevin. We're going to just hand over to Dan just to give you a bit of a pointer to our mentees if they're interested in getting involved in this apprenticeship.
Yes, wonderful. And thank you very much, Kevin, for giving us a rundown. 1 million cases in the first 12 months. That is insane. That is incredible. What a story. Thank you so much for sharing that. I just wanted to say again as well, thank you for the opportunity of sharing this with Winchester Creatives and with the possibility of a couple of our apprentices to work on this, because this is probably a once in a career chance of working on such a huge and global brand advertising and marketing campaign. I mean, this kind of thing doesn't crop up at all often, and especially at this early stage in a career. I mean, this would be one of the biggest campaigns I'll probably ever have the chance of working on. So, thank you so much, Kevin, and thank you, Casella Family Brands, for getting involved with Winchester Creatives.
Absolute pleasure, Dan.
Thank you. So what we're looking for now is, as Richard and as Kevin has said, next year we'll be having a couple of apprentices picked from the pool of mentees we've already got. And so we're looking for the best and the brightest, obviously, who are, getting involved in, with the online platform we've got, who are showing up to everything, who are sharing on social. We need to know who you are, and we need you to push yourself out there, get involved, and we're making the decision over the next couple of weeks. So if you'd like to be involved in this, let us know, because we're making the decision in the next couple of weeks, and we'll let you know very, very soon. So thank you very much again, Kevin.
Thank you so much. Can I make sure we all give a round of applause to wonderful Kevin Chin? So I'm going to hand over now to the wonderful Catherine Strachan. It is her equivalent of 1:30 in the morning, I think, if she's still around.
Oh, afternoon. It's almost 2 in the afternoon, so not
what's
crazy.
your UK time?
I've got no idea. It's almost 2 in the States where I am at the moment, though I normally live in the UK in Edinburgh. So yeah, I'm Catherine Strachan. I'm the managing director of Copy House. We're a content marketing agency focusing on technology and fintech content. I'm going to be running an event at the beginning of January where I'm going to be talking about what employers are looking for when you're hiring for a team. So I've got a team of 7 and, I'm quite familiar with the recruitment process, actually doing it at the moment, but for a more senior role. And 2 of my copywriters will be joining me as well to kind of talk about the other side of that table. So how do you stand out from a crowd? Traditionally, especially copywriting roles, you're competing against 100, 200 applications. So how do you stand out from the crowd? What can you do to maybe make your CV a little bit, look a little special, or, adding touches to it and really thinking about what that looks like. So this is a really great event for anybody who's currently trying to apply for roles, especially the more entry-level roles. So we really hope that it's going to give you quite a lot of great insights. I know that there was definitely some things that like I didn't realize before when, you know, years and years ago, before when I used to apply for roles, you know, you don't see what the other side of that table sees. So you learn some really interesting things when you're recruiting and hiring that, you know, we hope to share with you. So that's the event. And now I want to tell you a little bit about a course, the first course that we're going to be opening to you guys. So I run a 10-week SEO and copywriting course. This course is normally open to the public. We've been running it for about a year and we've had some really great feedback from it. So we normally charge a pretty penny for this course, but we've opened it to Winchester Creatives for a small nominal fee, which Richard will tell you about, to help you upskill, to help you gain some SEO and copywriting experience, to help you add to your CV, and give you something that, you know, can maybe help you stand out in that recruitment process that I was just talking about. So this is a 10-week course, all done through video content and homework. Going to have a couple of check-ins throughout and a writing workshop at the end. So it's a really great opportunity for anybody who's looking to upskill in this area. Richard's going to give you more details around the specifics of it and, you know, how you get on it. It is open for everyone, but we do need you to sign a waiver, which isn't so interesting. But once you're on the course, you know, you will get a lot of value from it. Yeah, so that's me. Thank you for having me, Richard, to tell you a little bit about the event and the course. I'm unfortunately able to stay for the quiz because I've got a small child who's waiting for me upstairs. But yes, if anybody has any questions about the course, let Richard know. He's going to give you more details. And yeah, he'll be working with me to organize all of this.
So I'm just going to give you a quick admin update, and then we're going to say a big thank you to Catherine. So the course I'm going to open up as of tomorrow. So this perspective, Catherine runs this externally with people when it's a fully engaged, when she's doing lots of workshops and check-ins. It's a total value of about £1,600. We are basically providing you the access to this course. It will save $49.99, which is basically £35. That works out at £3.50 a week for the next 10 weeks. This is going to be, just to put it in perspective, SEO skills is hot in terms of recruitment. People want to see those skills, analytical skills. So it is an absolute bargain. And just to say, the reason why we're putting a fee on this is because we have to pay for the platform. The platform comes with as a charge, and we paid for that for the next year because we're going to create new courses. And between you and us, because I know that Catherine's not listening, we want to share her a wonderful present for doing all her work. So we just need to make sure that we amass a little bit of money so that we can basically give her a lovely present to saying thank you. Just on that point, the way it's going to work is I'm going to open it up tomorrow. Please sign up before Christmas. Hazel and I, we have to make sure it's a very, very simple document that just says that you won't necessarily, this is IP from the Catherine. We don't want you to copy this and reuse it and trying to sell it on for yourself. So nobody can go through this course unless you just, it's a two-liner. It's not a hefty terms and conditions, but it's the rules of engagement that you have to send me and Hazel back a signed PDF document, just say you're happy to go through this course, but you're not going to repurpose this for your own, commercial interests. This is all about training you. We need to make sure that those waivers are signed by the end of the year. So we'll chase you between Christmas and New Year. And once everyone's signed it, the course will formally start in the new year. And it's really, really exciting. And it's training you can do at any time during the week. It's a learning that's going to work around your other commitments. And it basically is sequential. So once you finish one module, it opens up the next module and the next module. It's got some videos, some homework. It's really exciting. I've been working really busily trying to get it into the content. It's an exciting opportunity, and it's about translating a great intent into practical skills building for you. So can I just finish this section by saying a massive heartfelt thank you to the wonderful Catherine Strachan. Thank you so much.
No problem. No problem. Happy to help everyone.
See you in January, Catherine, and have a lovely Christmas and a wonderful New Year.